Have you with us for a very important subject to the future for each of us and for all of us, and that is, how do we create a flood-free future? We have a tradition at the Calgary Legion Forum. We begin with the singing of O Canada. I'm going to call upon Bruce Lee, the famous Bruce Lee, to lead us. Bruce?
Delighted to on such a great day in a beautiful country. Please lend your beautiful voices. Join me in singing O Canada. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free, from far once more in French.
Well, thanks very much, and welcome everybody to this yet another forum sponsored by the Calgary Legion Forum. We are a group of 1,800 individuals. We're a nonpartisan think tank. We're dedicated to improving the quality of life for the future of the city. And what more important issue is there facing Calgary right now in our quality of life, and that is, are we going to have one? Therein is the challenge. Justice Louis Brandeis once said, the most important political office is that of a private citizen. And so we believe that citizens should play a leadership role, hence this event. Margaret Mead once said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And so an overriding concern by the Leadership Forum since the flood occurred is there a sense of urgency to continue the work that needs to be done to prevent future flooding? So the mission for this event, ladies and gentlemen, is how to prevent or minimize the risk of future floods. That's simply the agenda. I think the province and the city have done a very competent job now of responding to the needs of the citizens in Calgary and Canmore and High River and so on. The question is, what do we do now about the future? Our intention is to produce proceedings from this event and submit them to all levels of government within the next 2 weeks. So we think a very important part of this process is public engagement, hence this event. So we would like to begin by acknowledging our good friends at the Canadian Croatian Club here of Calgary. We're just delighted they've agreed to host this event for us, and they have been busy on the subject of flood prevention. They have been busy raising funds, and I'm going to call upon the president, Rada Saradovic. He has a presentation he would like to make to Alan Okanovich, who is the manager of legacy giving for the Red Cross. So I'm going to ask both of those gentlemen to come forward now, please. Let's hear it for Dragi Horvatska, Kakasi.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not the speaker as Brian is. My name is Rada Saradovic. I'm the president of Croatian and Canadian Cultural Center. In this case, I represent the Croatian community. Since I met Brian 5-6 years ago, we have two things in common. Our mothers are the same age, and two of us are the same age. And he always told me he's better looking. So. A few of us were talking about Calgary flood. Then somebody said why we couldn't help the flood and people in need. So eight people took action and collect some money in our community. Before I give money, I would ask media, if anybody is here from media, to put it in the paper and ask from every community and every nation in this country or in Calgary to collect money to this cause. So our donation is $21,666. But we could do better. So, Alan, this is a check here for $21,666.
Thank you. Hi, I would like to thank Croatian community on behalf of the Canadian Red Cross for such a generosity. In times where Canadian Red Cross responded to the largest disaster in Canadian history, and also this was the largest fundraiser in the history of Canadian Red Cross, and I'm very delighted to accept this check and to have Croatia included in this biggest fundraising activity in Canada. This donation is very meaningful personally to me. One reason is because I had a chance to go to High River and actually give out those basic cleanup kits to those affected. And also as a fundraiser to fundraise in the same time and to see the kind of the whole circle and to be a bridge between generous Canadians and those people who are affected by floods. Second reason, it's very meaningful for me because I personally immigrated from the same land back home, and we speak same language. So I was the one raising hand to my boss. I want to go to Croatian Club. Same language, I want to go there. So again, thank you very much for your generosity to the Croatian community and also to the Calgary Leadership Forum to arrange this. Thank you.
All right, excellent. So the nightmare scenario is this: what if it happens again next year? And how quickly we forget. 2005 was bad enough. The Gronwald report was commissioned by the province. Some excellent recommendations in it, and it fizzled. No action was taken, a deliberate policy decision was taken, and if someone here from the province would like to comment, and that's great, maybe it didn't fizzle completely, but certainly some of the major recommendations were not acted on. So and I'm not offering that as a criticism, I'm just making an observation. John Cotter, who wrote the book From Good to Great and 3 other important books, said all change fails because of a lack of urgency. And my point is this: we want to sustain a lack of urgency until we're comfortable and satisfied that our wonderful city cannot be at risk as it was this year. So how many of you, by the way, just out of curiosity, were impacted directly by the flood themselves? Let's see a show of hands. So it looks like about 20%. How many knew someone that was impacted? All of us did. How many knew many people that were impacted? I counted myself, 17 people, 17 friends that I know had to move out. Some of them still have not moved back. I had the tragic incident of a friend who just lost her husband 6 months ago. Put her house up for sale, and then the house was completely lost. What a personal tragedy. And we all know those tragedies one-on-one. It's hard to imagine it happened here in Calgary. I was in City Council in 1980 when we approved the flood plan for Calgary-Bowness area structure plan. And I remember the anger by the owners that we're imposing a 1 in 100 year flood plan risk. 1 in 100 years, and of course that was the accepted norm. Yet we all noticed in Colorado this week and last week, a 1 in 500 year flood occurred. So something's happening with the climate. We all know it's not just an opinion, it's very real. I think one of the things that's interesting for me is, in my living as a professional speaker, I work in healthcare, and I'm in the United States every week somewhere. And inevitably somebody says, well, why do you live in Calgary and you do so much work in the US? And I said, have you been to Calgary? It's a wonderful city. And then I go on to say all the reasons people should come here, and then I say, but you know, one great thing about Calgary is we don't have hurricanes, we don't have tornadoes, we don't have all these natural disasters, except I can no longer say we don't have floods. Who would have imagined? So it's changed a little bit. I remember during the Calgary Centennial there was a song about commissioned for the Calgary Centennial. And in the song it said, Calgary was an Indian word for clear running water, which it isn't. But ironically, it's the dirty running water that has become the biggest threat to us for the future. So, the $10 billion question facing all of us now is, if we knew we could have prevented this, if we the province, we the city knew a year ago that we could have prevented this and it would have cost us $5 billion, would we have paid it? If we knew with certainty that it was going to happen, would we have paid it? Well, we don't know for sure. But my question now is, there's a pretty good certainty it's going to happen again. What are we going to do to prevent it, whatever the cost? One of the things I've learned in what I do is that when people are faced with crisis, they can either be paralyzed or they can be energized. And I've noticed this city has become energized, and the Calgary Leadership Forum believes so much in this, we sponsored this event today. One of our members and chair of the social media committee for this event, Steve Chapman, sent me a note, and he said it would be very timely to remember George Santana's cautionary warning, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Therein is the challenge. So, we have a representative from the city, representative from the province. Our representative from the city, Richard, is not here yet, so we'll call upon him when he arrives. But to represent the province of Alberta, the MLA for Calgary-Bow, would you please welcome Alana DeLong.
Thank you very much, Brian. And I came just to mainly to educate myself. This is an issue that is very dear to my constituents, since my constituency includes Bowness, which was hit very hard. And so I'm sure that if there are any people from that area, they would say, gee, Alana, you really should have been here. So I'm here. And I am here also to bring greetings on behalf of the province, of Premier Alison Redford, and all the members of the legislature. This is really important work that's being done here. And so I have to thank the Calgary Leadership Forum and Brian Lee, and also the Croatian Center for putting this on. I'm myself hoping to find some gems here to take forward, but I am sure that we will that this will be very valuable to the province, not just in terms of what we can do, but also the pushing forward the political impetus. And as you said, it does need some political impetus to keep moving, and so this does really add to it. And so thank everyone for being here, and again, thank the organizations for putting this on. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lana. We're delighted that you're here, and we appreciate your words of encouragement. We have an awesome program scheduled today, and the person who put it together, there's a committee. We're going to acknowledge the committee incidentally a little bit later, but we want to get going here. So to introduce our convener, our program chair is Dennis Little. He for 14 years was president and CEO of the Alberta New Home Warranty Program. So talk about an individual that has a particular interest in this. And we have been very impressed with the work that he and Charles Hanson and his committee have done to put together and bring to us some world-class speakers. I've noticed about Dennis that he is pretty hard to get a hold of because he's partying in Canmore, he's partying on the golf course, he's biking, he's everywhere somewhere, but he made time from all this active retirement to organize the speakers for today. So I'm going to call upon Dennis Little now to introduce our convener. Dennis? Let's give him a round of applause.